Pullavinaka and Namaste. Hi everyone. My name is Sylvia Coombe and I'm the president of the Fijian Community Association Victoria based here in Melbourne. I'm very delighted that our organisation was granted funding for us to provide Aboriginal cultural awareness training here at Koorie Heritage Trust at Yarra Building in Fed Square. We're so delighted that we were able to organise two Saturday sessions in Melbourne. We just had our first session last week on Saturday, and today we're having a session with a lot of multicultural people from all over the Pacific Islands. So we're hoping that everyone will get some awareness of this beautiful land we're on, to understand Aboriginal cultural history and tradition. Vinaka.
Privileged to be here today. As a Fijian, our culture is important to us, and about the culture of Aborigines, so that's why I'm here. I'm so excited to learn about their culture.
First, inside the building, the first striking thing that I saw in this building was effects and how the earring and all the stuff were made from soil and stuff. So that's first got my attention when I entered the building. Interesting thing here is compared to Fiji, we have two languages. One is our own dialect and one we use as a whole nation of Fiji. Well, from the lesson today, I learned that in Australia they don't have a language like we use all in Fiji, where we can all speak those language on one side of the country to the another. Unlike Australia, they have different type of language and dialect they can use in their own state and country. Past way the ancestors here used and how the culture affects me. I really like to learn more about the Aborigines people here in Australia, so that's all.
This is my first time to attend such a course, especially to learn about our First Nation people. And I think I was very interesting, and I've learned a lot, especially the acknowledge to country, and secondly to recognize that they are a nation of their own, and they are a country of their own. I find that very interesting.
The pieces of information that I picked up one was the welcome to the nation. So it sort of resonated with us, because if this is Aboriginal culture and our culture is this, there are similarities, and it forms a basis of respect, of ownership, of cultural belonging, and acknowledging a visitor too, and our ways of embracing those from outside. So that's something I picked up, the welcoming part. And I saw the First Nations flag flying proudly there with the Torres Strait flag and the Australian flag. Then I saw that this is very symbolic, that a peoples and peoples group along with the modern nation would stand side by side. So it embodied what I thought of, a place, a building whereby the Aboriginal peoples can use to voice out who they are and what their identity is.
Most interesting thing that I've been hearing today was relating the Aboriginal, the information that I had, to the way we Fijians live. Culturally, traditionally, it's sort of link together, and it's getting very interesting to me. More similar to the way we do our carving, and because we work with wood, our ancestors building canoes and making clubs and war clubs and all the stuff, and the design slightly different, but we have a design in our own way, and the Aboriginal people have their design the other way, which distinguishes between the two different cultures. There's a lot of similarities. The only difference is that the Fiji is such a small country, and Australia is a continent, And with a wide range of changes that the Aboriginals people, the Indigenous people are facing right now, is exactly the same way in which our culture has been disturbed to be able for colonialism to ease the way they run or they organize things for us. Eh? So they sort of break up our groups, which we didn't agree on, and that's exactly what's happening to what has happened to the Aboriginal people here.
So my name is Peter Bakua. I'm the president of Papua New Guinea Australia Association here in Melbourne. What I've found very interesting, the Aboriginal Cultural Awareness meeting today is about the Aboriginal culture and how it has changed over time since the settlement of white Australians. And the thing that very interests me a lot is the Aboriginal languages and the Aboriginal tribes all throughout the Australian continent. And I've only thought that the Aboriginal language is just only one. And I'm surprised to learn that different tribes have very different languages. And like if you live in Victoria, then you're known as the Koories, and it's something that I've learned today.
Ko ngaro te maunga, ko roto ka kei te awa, ko morihu te marae, ko tinana te waka, ko te uri o tai te apu, ko te rarawa te iwi, ko Tyson Tuala tōku ingoa. Kia ora, my name is Tyson. Born Aotearoa and currently been in Melbourne for 11 years. Work with a Māori not-for-profit organisation called Ngā Mātai Pūrua. Also work my day job for a Aboriginal corporation, the Jar Jar Wurrung Clan's Aboriginal Corporation. The personal stories that the facilitator today that has shared has been just so unbelievably, I feel unbelievably blessed to have heard those stories and for her to have shared some of her whakapapo history with us. And then obviously just it's a good chance every time to remind ourselves just whose land we're on and the trauma that has been sort of has taken part on this land. This is the first time I've been able to do a Aboriginal cultural competency program with some of our youth here. So I'm feeling really blessed to be able to bring some of our next generation into the space of learning about Aboriginal culture and history. So that's probably been my greatest sort of takeaway from today, is being able to see their faces, hear how they relate to the information they're receiving, but I guess also being able to do it amongst people like me, so people from the Pacific Islands, Aotearoa, that are born here or maybe have a cultural heritage that is similar to me. That's really, really nice to be able to do that amongst my peers. But I also love being able to be surrounded by artifacts or replicas, being able to touch and feel things that we're talking about, and then obviously in a room like this, which changes quite often, being able to see art, craft, paintings, all that sort of stuff really just sets the mood.
I'm finding this program really fantastic. I've never done anything like this before. I've been here for 40 years and I'm finding this very historic, ancient stories and the culture, the massacres, the pain that the Aborigines have gone through, and how we are now being educated to get to know what they've gone through and what cultures they have and dialects and how many languages there are and where they're all based. So I think this is really beneficial for us and for our children in future. I've been to Fed Square a few times, gone to the cafes downstairs and the markets and stuff, but honestly I've never been up here. I didn't realise this existed, of how it's a collection of Aboriginal artefacts and tools and library and the paintings and the facility to sit here and enjoy everything, and you know, it's very welcoming, and I encourage everybody to come.
came to Australia 30 years ago, I didn't learn about Aboriginal cultural history and tradition in school. Whatever I learned about Aboriginal history and culture, I learned either through the media, from news, from books. But today was really an eye-opener, and I really encourage people to attend this type of training, especially when it's offered to you. Do put your hand up and do go to this type of training, because it'll open your eyes up and really appreciate the first citizens of this great nation, Australia, and that's the Aboriginal peoples and traditional owners of the land.